Here we are, Facebook Live. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back, Paul Reed. Paul's
Hey,
been traveling, but he's back with us now. Paul, how you doing, man?
I'm doing splendid. How are you? I know you got
I'm
to get this. Jason's got the damn worst luck. He's got COVID again. He and the family. He must have a variant. Jeepers creepers.
something.
Unbelievable.
We're
The uh
making it.
the gift that just keeps on giving, huh?
Jeez, dude, yeah, it's annoying.
So we're at Zoom again.
I didn't know you could get it twice, but
Ah,
it is what it is, man.
yeah. Yeah.
So we'll just go with
We'll
reality.
move on.
Reality trumps theory, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
All right, so Paul,
All
you
right.
said you got something prepared for us today. What do you got?
Well, just in the news again is the Florida legislature where they're debating whether or not to change from a no-fault system, which is what Florida currently operates on when it comes to automobile insurance, versus a at-fault system. The Senate voted, I believe, 38-1 to do away with no fault, which is PiP,
Okay.
and install an at-fault system, meaning the at-fault driver has to have, I believe they're talking about a minimum of $25,000 in bodily injury liability coverage.
Okay.
Uh, and of course, they would then be responsible for medical bills, or that insurance would be responsible for medical bills, lost wages, and what we all kind of know as pain and suffering. They've been trying for a long time to move towards this system, but you get a lot of pushback from the medical lobbyists. And think about it, these hospitals love, especially here around the corner, Brandon Regional, they love you coming in to their hospital after a car wreck. They give you some CT scans that they charge $10,000 a pop for,
Right. Right. Right.
a little fluff and puff, and they get 10 grand, you know,
Jeez.
versus if you walked in there with Medicaid, Medicare, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, at all, yeah, heck, they can get anything from hundreds of dollars to a few thousand. So the
Hmm.
medical community, ambulances, hospitals, doctors, they certainly love PIP because it pays a whole lot more than any other type of insurance,
Okay.
government associated or private. So that you're getting some pushback there. It's interesting. The auto insurance, they bitch and moan about PIP fraud and all these other things, but when they have the opportunity to move to an at-fault system, they whine and complain and fight it as well. So doesn't make a lot of sense. We'll see. Again, it passed in the Senate, but I'll be shocked if it makes it out of the House, which is the second body up there.
Yeah.
So, not hold my breath. Certainly, as personal injury lawyers, I can speak for every single one of us. We would love to have an at fault based system. And I'll just give you an example, literally, why we're a little bit behind. I was speaking with a new client over here. She lives in Valrico. She works at a dealership, an auto dealership, and she was in their car, but she was using it for personal use. But she's still like a loaner, whatever they call them. I forget there's a term,
Yeah.
but she was in a crash. And I told her, well, I understand that you were in the dealership. You're listed as a driver even on the policy, but because you own a car, the way the no fault system works is remember the questions. Number one, do you own a car? If the answer is yes, then regardless of whose car you're in, that's the insurance you use. Number two would be if you don't own a car, do you live with a relative by blood or marriage? This one again gets tricky. What if it's just your brother-in-law that you live with? His car's not involved, and they really don't like. You're not using my insurance. I had nothing to do with this. And
Right.
then, with number three would be if not A or B, that it would be the dealership's car. So I told her, you have to call Geico and just let them know, which is her insurance. Let them know that you're in an accident and get a claim number. She's like, she didn't want to, but that's just the way it works. So it would be
Yeah.
nice to go to a fault system. It would honestly, it would make this job a lot easier because uh, you know the bills get reduced pursuant to a percentage of Medicare. It's a real nightmare. And
Yeah.
so but we'll see. Again,
Okay.
if I was in Vegas still, like I was last week, thank you very much.
Yeah. Welcome back.
For Leanne's birthday, 21st,
Hey.
then I would bet that no, it will not pass.
Okay.
And I would bet a substantial amount of money, $20.
Okay.
So anyway,
but you're in favor of it passing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It would be, yeah. There's so much paperwork. You just can't imagine associated with the no fault. You get bombarded with what's called explanation of benefits, and they're confusing to the clients, and they send them to them, and then they say, well, what is this? Is it a bill? What does it mean? It's a real nightmare.
Yeah, and anytime there's confusion, that's where the opportunity to like slide someone over is, right?
Yeah, and all they can do, and I think the Senate did. There's a part of insurance policy called medical payment. It's basically health insurance, and it pays for medical bills above and beyond what your personal injury protection. So you can get rid of the PiP, the personal injury protection, but you can still then buy medical payments coverage up to 5, 10, 25,000, and it is relatively cheap. So on a side note, even if they don't do anything with this PiP, it would behoove you to, get medical payments coverage, if nothing else, $1,000 or so forth.
Okay.
And so that having been said, we'll see what happens with the PiP. And remember, the no fault, just substitute regardless of fault. Regardless of who's at fault, your insurance company pays a percentage of your medical bills and lost wages. So that's kind of what's going on in the Florida legislature, among other things, of course. There's some controversial issues up there are this anti-riot bill. Of course, the one side is argument that it will create a crime to do certain things when you're gathering in public and demonstrating. The other side is it's a suppression of free speech. I haven't read the bill because, quite honestly, Jason, there's nothing you and I can do about it.
Yeah.
Those idiots up in Tallahassee, and I use that term idiots for a reason. They're going to do what they're going to do, and there's nothing we can do about it other than if you don't like what they do, vote them out of office. But
sure. So you made me think of something, though, as you were talking, like in riots, not to kind of take that tangent too far, but in riots, are there times whenever, like, you as a personal injury attorney might have a case for something if someone gets hurt and things like that? Would that fall more toward criminal, or would that fall toward?
Yeah, well, we just picked up a case where a local drinking establishment here, the owner's boyfriend took it upon himself to beat the hell out of our client, and it was unnecessary. This is the kind of person that poses with his AR-15 and how rough and tough and a badass he is, and
sure.
And so that bar and he are fixing to get sued.
Okay.
So yeah, if
and that's separate and apart from criminal charges.
Assault battery, that is a tort. That is something that can
be
recoverable. But the problem is, like, once again, I've said this so many times, and you can sue anybody.
Right.
Laws are such that we may get a $1 million judgment. I'm just throwing a number out against this guy that beat up our client, but he doesn't have to pay it. He can go down the bankruptcy for $2,500 and thanks for coming.
Right.
It's rough, but we'll see if the bar might have some type of insurance. You say, well, of course they have insurance. They're a bar, but you got to understand, if you look at all insurance, there's exclusions. Your homeowners will have exclusions. You can exclude a driver on your car. So in homeowners, the great majority, in my opinion, will have an animal. Will have a not homeowners. I'm sorry, for bars and restaurants and so forth. They will have an assault and battery exclusion, meaning just that. If the injury is related to an assault or battery, we're not paying.
Got you.
That's the problem.
Yeah, so you could still sue the individual, but the insurance wouldn't cover.
Well, you can sue the bar too, but if
right.
there's no insurance, what are you going to go take their glasses, their stools,
right.
beer? You know what I mean?
Give me your whiskey. Yeah. 40 bottles of Jameson. That's what I meant.
Going up to the bar, we're going to drink all this crap by way of a settlement. So yeah, you can. It's just
okay.
It's not easy.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, if that is the case, because I tend to think, or maybe I was in my head putting things that like are injuries or kind of things get out of hand as a result of riots or bar fights. I was kind of putting those more in the like criminal charges kind of side of things, and not necessarily thinking of it in terms of like personal injury. But the more I got to think about it, that's why I asked the question.
Oh
Was
yeah, well of course, yeah, you burned down a building. It's definitely criminal.
right.
But let's just say you're one of the protesters, for lack of a better term, and you whack somebody or otherwise. Well, that's a battery. So you definitely could be held responsible under a civil cause of action, which is
Okay.
personal injury. That's civil. You
So
also can be held responsible criminally for a
right.
felony or otherwise. But yeah, you
Okay.
know, burning down buildings, and that there's always the civil side of it where you've got to pay for what you've done.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. So Barbara
Yeah.
asks, she says, is it always the car insurance that pays first, even if you have very good health insurance and won't have to go through a lot of hassle?
Yes, your car insurance is primary, and
Okay.
your health insurance probably, or more likely than not, won't pay anything until your benefits are exhausted. So what we find is, let's just say there's a $50,000 hospital bill at Brandon Regional, right? Take your pick, Tampa General, St.
Sure.
Joseph, it doesn't matter. So, and let's just say
It's a
that
great question.
you submit the bill to your auto and your health, or if you just submit to health, they're going to say this is a car wreck. You need to submit it to your auto.
Okay.
But let's just say your auto, which would happen, would pay the full $10,000 to Brandon Regional. Okay, so now your PIP's exhausted. Your benefits are exhausted. Uh, Two things can happen. One, then you can start using your health insurance for MRIs, and depending on what doctors are under your plan. Let's say you had a chiropractic physician or a neurosurgeon or a orthopedic surgeon within your plan, you
Mm-hmm.
can use that doctor, and they will pay the benefits pursuant to the contract they have with each medical provider.
Got you.
But understand this, you got to know, if you recover from the person that caused the accident under your health insurance, you have to pay them back. So let's say you run up $100,000 in bills, your Blue Cross and Blue Shield pays $25,000. You got to pay Blue Cross and Blue Shield back. That's not no bueno. That's not good, because
Oh, I
that's
didn't
taking
realize that.
money from your settlement. So you actually want to use your no fault benefits. You do not have to pay them back.
Got you.
Back to the hospital, what happens is, let's just say you have a $50,000 bill, and at the end of the day, your Humana, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, Medicare, Medicaid, or otherwise would have paid $4,500. The beauty of having health insurance is, okay, so the hospital got paid more than they would have if this had just been if I had just walked into the hospital because I fell out of bed. Well,
Okay.
then they have to write off the remaining balance, because they got paid more than they would have got paid had this not been an automobile accident case. So there's reasons to submit to health insurance, uh, even though they're not going to pay. And the reason being is, if they
Hmm.
get paid more from the auto than they would have got from the health insurance, you have a zero balance.
That's interesting. That's a great question because I hadn't even thought. I had not even considered any of the stuff that you just talked about. So I always love how things like that happen when we're like, oh, today's going to be short. We're just going to talk about this, and then like somebody will ask a great question, and then I definitely learn something every time, and I work pretty closely with you
Yeah,
guys, and I'm still
definitely.
constantly learning things every time
Yeah.
we do these. So I appreciate it. I love how that happens when we do this. So I just
Oh
wanted to say
yeah, I
thank
can't
you.
wait till there's more people tuning in. Hopefully, we got
Yeah,
the bill running and more questions. I love answering questions. It's to
yeah.
come up a topic every week. Can get difficult just because I'm not sure. You know,
Yeah, but it's great to have questions, like Paul's saying. So if there's anybody, if you're watching this video and you have questions, just drop them in the comments below the video. Like I
yeah,
monitor all the comments. I'll pick them up and make sure that they get it added to the next rotation or something like that. So if you
absolutely.
have any questions, any kind of comments like that, I see them all. So just drop them right in the comments below the video that you're currently watching. We'll scoop them up and make sure that they get incorporated. So yeah, keep the questions
Absolutely.
coming. They're great.
Yeah. And just here's a little shout out to Leanne Reed. I cannot believe it, but as of 5 o'clock today, she's going to be a senior at FSU.
Wow.
OMG.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. Dude,
Yeah.
it blows my mind. My niece is in college, and I remember like pushing her around in a stroller, and it just it's just the things that'll do to your brain, you know.
It's crazy. I was
Oh.
talking to Joe Catania, one of the Catania brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, dude, I remember when we were playing softball, she was yay big and climbing fences. And I'm like, it seems like forever ago, but
Yeah.
holy crap. So,
Yeah.
but, again, congratulations to her. God
Very
love her.
cool. Yeah, congrats. That's
Hard
awesome.
up there in the COVID world of school. I think hopefully she will not be one of the only people that ever graduates from FSU and never sets foot on the campus.
Yeah.
So far, that seems to be the case, but she's battling through.
But good for her. That's awesome, man. That's really, really cool.
Anyway, all right. Well, that was it.
All right.
10, 15 minutes. Like I said,
yeah, it's good.
If you got a question, submit it. I'd love to.
Yeah, please. Absolutely.
And some information about.
And grab us on YouTube. So go to YouTube and type in Read and Read Brandon, and just grab it's just to hit subscribe on the bar. We need to hit at least 100 subscribers there to kind of really start capitalizing and making it easier for people to follow us there. Considering maybe moving some of the live stream to YouTube just because of the platform, but right now we're just gonna leave it like it is. But I wouldn't want to do that without the at least hitting that benchmark in followers, because we would need that custom URL so to make it easier for people to follow us. But yeah, so if you're on YouTube, go ahead. I do drop these videos on YouTube, and they're watchable again later on Facebook, so you can get them in either place that you're there. If you can share them around with your friends, if you find the information valuable, all of that stuff helps. So, and then, of course, like he said, add questions below the videos if there's something that you're curious about. But I think that pretty much wraps it up. Paul, is there anything else you want to say?
Everybody have a good weekend.
All right, cool.
Stay safe. Stay off your cell phones.
While you're driving, yeah.
Yeah. Let people out, cut in front of you. Just drive careful, because I got news for you, Jason. The sad thing is, when I read today's paper when I get home, which is on the computer, or tomorrow's, 2 or 3 people will have died in our Tampa Bay area because of car wrecks or motorcycle wrecks or being a pedestrian. Yeah. And that is just ridiculous. It doesn't need to happen. If people just stay off their phones, slow down, have a little common courtesy, and put me out of business. That's okay. I'll do something else. But that's it. That's my
very cool.
That's my hope. You guys be good, be safe.
Right on.
Love one another. That sounds stupid.
No, it doesn't, man. It's cool. It's all good. It really is.
Let's get out of here.
All right, brother.
Enjoy the weekend.
You got it. Peace out, guys.
All right, see you.